All right. For those who are unaware, I will of course be informing parents of those who weren't able to bluff their way through that test. Now, this is not a hard to find resourced text. There is a lot of stuff out there. You should have at least known enough to be able to pass that test. It wasn't that difficult. Please rectify this problem as soon as possible. So what are you actually going to be doing? Well, with Heart of Darkness, it's a little bit different. Of course, there's the Creative Gothic. I won't be giving you a lot of time for that, but you can make time to see me. That's not a problem. Because writing stories is something that you people can do. You've also done Gothic writing before. I've got the Gothic prompt cards. If you want them, you can definitely use those, or you could use the prompts that I've actually put on the task sheet. But do be aware that I will be touching base with you to talk to you about it, and eventually asking to see process work to make sure that, as Finn just tried to negotiate, you don't form a little group of writers in the recess before it's due. I will want it to be submitted on Moodle in electronic form. Can I ask that you please make it at least Times New Roman, 1.5 or double line space. I can show you how to do that. Give it a title, if we haven't, and put your name under the title, because when I print it, it doesn't print your name on it, even though it came from a file. And that's a bit, exhausting for me. You don't have to hand in a hard copy. I was going to make you, but you don't have to. Who thinks that they might want to have some help with their creative? Yes? That's fine. You want me to? Great. Well, then do realise we are on week 6, and you've got week 6, week 7, and then all of your week 8. Please make sure that you make a time early rather than late. It was due at the start, but I will accept it at the end. If you actually look at the submission site, I don't know if I've set it up yet, but usually I have a couple of days after. Shh. Now, assuming that you're all not off as close contacts, we also have it's a bit of a funny one. It's a close reading, but it's going to be from Heart of Darkness.
Yes. I'm excited.
So, understand that the excerpt I choose is probably going to be looked at sometime in class. That's only a little bit of a help, because we're going to be looking at lots of sections of Heart of Darkness. Everything we do in class is going to be useful. Obviously, being able to recognise the style, the structure, the ideas, the representations, which we'll be going over in class in that excerpt, will help you. So don't think that this is just going to be the next 3 weeks of you just sitting back and being happy, because that's not what we do. All right, so this is going to be, though, with no notes whatsoever. And while I suggest you do a post-colonial perspective, I will make sure, as it's a close reading, what does that mean?
It's open to...
Dialogue Plus is for... Yes.
It's open to your choice. That
So
made
what?
Sense.
I did know what you meant. That might have been patronising. That's exactly what it means. It means that it's open to your interpretation. So while I will be directing you towards a post-colonial reading, that's not the only one available to you. You can choose whichever one you like when you come to do it, because it's a close reading and we don't put a question on it. There are some things you need to remember, though, about close readings. Close readings mean that you are going to be looking at construction, so you will have to revisit. Luckily, it's a prose piece. So prose pieces, you're fairly familiar with the construction elements of it. Now, are there any questions about that? No? Yes? That one is going to be week 9, though let's be honest, it's probably going to become week 10.
It says week 10 on there.
I think even between here and there, writing it on the board, I changed my mind and said week 10. And I've got a theory that our assessments might become online. No, that theory is against... There was actually like a little gangster sign thing happening back there. Now, there's some things I can do to make that more difficult for you. No, that is true. I can't do that, though that would be fun. So, now I should make clear that our department policy is that you do it as soon as you return. But I can see a problem with kids going out at different times, that becomes an absolute nightmare.
We'll just do like 50 tests at the end of the year.
So what I think might end up happening is that it ends up being an on Moodle online thing where I see if I can do a lock screen and it has a time open, time close. Now I know that you can get around that.
No, you need to do a WebEx as well as that. So then you just watch Mateo intently.
No, but then you just tape a piece of paper.
Only from the table.
Yeah. Obviously, I will have to decide that as we get closer. The lucky thing is that as a Year 12 literature class, there isn't any other Year 12 literature class, so I don't really have to talk to any other teachers. I just have to talk to my line manager. So I don't have to care if another teacher knows how to set up a Moodle test or not. What? My what? Line manager. Students, clearly people have not got a job. Really, and you don't know what a line manager is? Now, too excited. So let's go over what that would look like again. In the case of that happening, I will have assumed that you had kept up to date with the work on sector. I would be informing you that there would be an online assessment. It would have a distinct opening and closing time. That opening and closing time would be the same as what it would be in class. That would, if I have any of it, I do think there's an option to lock screen, but I don't know how that physically works. I just don't. If I can manage to do that, I will, but I don't know if I can. I just remember, a setting on Moodle.
Just make all the assessments open for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could do it just for fun. Yeah.
Just
Now,
not on the millions.
and obviously it would be typed. I mean, that goes without saying. Yeah. So, hands up if you now are totally aware that there will be an assessment one way or the other. All right, so now I think the obvious thing is get your book out and read it.